silver felt heavy in my belt. 30 pieces of security, 30 units of predictability. I had it all calculated. I thought I was forcing his hand, pushing the disruptor to finally seize the throne I knew he deserved. But as I led them through the Kidron Valley, the atmosphere turned to lead. We found him in the grove. The air smelled of crushed olives and the iron scent of a slaughterhouse. He wasn't standing like a king. He was crumpled against the root, his face pressed into the dirt. I watched from the shadows as he shut. It wasn't a man having a breakdown, it was a man being compressed by the gravity of every sin never committed, past, present, and the ones not yet dreamed of in the dark. I saw it then, a trillion-fold peculiar agony. The sweat on his brow didn't just run, it darkened, it was thick, crimson. His very blood was being forced through the pores of his skin by the sheer irreversible pressure of the yes he was saying to the Father. He was absorbing the entropy of the whole human race into his own nervous system. When I stepped forward to kiss him, I felt the heat coming off him, a thermal radiation of sorrow. I touched my lips to his cheek and tasted the salt in the blood. I gave him the signal, the silver's greeting, and he looked at me not with the eyes of a victim, but with the eyes of a judge who was voluntarily walking to the cage. He wasn't being captured, he was surrendering to the trap he had set for death itself. The silver is clinking a feudal march, the tongue is a desert, the throat is a parch. In the garden of shadows, the olive press turns, while the fire of heaven in the red water burns. He's taking the note of the garden of old and turning it into a yes that's been told. Every cell in his body is screaming in pain as the weight of the world falls down like a rain. It's the silver and sweat, the kiss and the curse, the center of gravity for the whole universe. A trillion-fold pressure, a capillary break. The master is bleeding for the world's heavy sake. He's not losing the battle, he's choosing the cost to find every atom that ever was lost. The gainful attention of the dark and the deep is watching the shepherd die for the sheep. The soldiers have torches, the steel is all bare, but the real war is happening in the thickness of air. He's drinking the cup of the void and the gall to stop the momentum of the great human fall. The DNA shudders, the capillaries tear, the blood of the lamb is the answer to prayer. One kiss from a traitor, one done from the sun. The end of the end has finally begun. Stress times sorrows, blood in the dust, the chemistry of mercy, the physics of trust. He's grounding the lightning of a billion-fold wrath into the dirt of a garden-side path. They led him away. He didn't say a word, but the ground where he had been kneeling stayed warm for hours. I looked at the silver in my hand and realized I hadn't traded a man for money, I had traded the sun for a handful of cold, dead pebbles.
Ooh. 'Cause
seen 500 crucifixions. I know the chemistry of the dying. I know the death rattle, the smell of the bile, and the way the human spirit usually shatters into screaming or pleading. But this was a billion-fold departure from the norm. The sky went out at noon. It wasn't a cloud, and it wasn't a lunar eclipse. The math was all wrong. It was as if the light itself had been withdrawn. The sun didn't hide, it ceased. The darkness was a physical weight, a trillion-fold pressure that felt like being buried alive in a cold sea. I looked at the man on the center timber. He wasn't fighting for air anymore. He was absorbing the dark. Every time he pushed up on his nailed feet to speak, the ground beneath us, the very foundations of the limestone hill, vibrated at a frequency of grief. When he finally cried out, it wasn't a sound for the living. It was a roar that seemed to tear the atoms of the air apart. The earth beneath my boots didn't just shake, it rent. The rock split open like a ripe fruit, and then he breathed out a long final exhale that felt like the wind leaving the universe. I looked at the way he hung there, not defeated but finished. I've seen kings die, but I've never seen a man die so hard that the sun was afraid to watch. I put my hand on the wood, felt the cooling heat of his blood, and I knew we hadn't just killed a rebel, we had just murdered the source. The nails are the axis on which the world turns, while the heart of the sun in the shadowland burns. The law of the harvest is reaping the seed, as the creator bleeds for the creature's dark greed. The sky is a bruise, the air is a shroud, and the silence of God is incredibly loud. He's taking the entropy into his bone to pay for a debt that he never could own. It's the seventh hour, the death of the light, the end of the day and the birth of the night. A trillion-fold thirst and a billion-fold ache. The pillar of heaven is starting to break. He's the infinite lamb in the jaws of the dark, protecting the flame of the original spark. The gainful attention of the angels and thieves is fixed on the man that the universe grieves. The veil in the temple is torn to the floor. Peculiar power has opened the door. It's a molecular ransom, a cosmic exchange, where the holy and broken are being rearranged. He says it is finished, the dead and the law, and the centurion falls in a shivering awe. The biology stops, but the mission is won, as the Father turns back from the face of the Son. Matter absolutes in me death, but death time's guided the final breath. The singularity has reached its peak. The word of the world has ceased to speak. looked empty like a house when the fire goes out. I looked at the soldiers cleaning their spears, and I wanted to scream. I just stood there staring at him, and for the first time in my life, I said the truth out loud. Surely I whispered to the blood-stained dirt, this was the Son of God.
The world was gray, not the gray of mist, but the gray of ash. I walked to the tomb carrying 60 pounds of spices. My final desperate gainful attention to a corpse. I expected the smell of the end, the sweet, heavy rot of a dream that had been murdered. But when I reached the stone, the physics of the morning had shifted. The seal wasn't just broken, it was vaporized. The air coming from the dark of the cave didn't smell like a grave. It smelled like the beginning. It smelled of ozone, crushed lilies, and a rain that had never touched the earth. I saw a man, I thought he was the gardener, and in a way I was right. He was the gardener of the whole damn universe. He was standing there, but he didn't look like a ghost. He looked more solid than the rocks around him. He looked like a man who would walk through the fire and come out as the flame. I was screaming my grief at him, begging for a body to bury. My eyes blinded by the old tears. And then he spoke. He didn't give a lecture. He didn't explain the mechanics of how he had just rewritten the DNA of the grave. He just looked at me, fixed me in the center of his trillion-fold mercy, and said, Mary. A galactic realignment. It was the sound of my own name being spoken for the first time by the one who had thought of it before the stars were born. The grief didn't just leave, it was overwritten. I reached out to touch his feet and I felt it, the peculiar vibration. He wasn't just alive, he was life itself, vibrating at a frequency that death could no longer touch. The linen is empty, the spices are waste, the bitterness leaves a new salt in the taste. The stone is a witness to a gravitational flip, as the anchor of Hades loses He's not a memory, he's not a ghost in the head. He's the only one living in the land of the dead. The intruding peculiarity is the warmth of his skin, the way that he's breathing the new world in. He speaks a single word and the timeline bends, where the alpha begins and the omega ends. Rabboni, she cries as the universe sings beneath the vast shadow of the King of Kings. Death divided by infinity, oh. The math of the tomb has a brand new hero. Biology plus spirit equal glorified form. The peace of the garden has conquered the storm. I ran, I didn't just run with my legs, I ran with my whole soul. Every step I took felt like I was flying. I had to tell them, I had to tell the whole tired, dying world. The grave has a hole in the bottom, and the gardener is calling us by name.
We were walking away from the ruins of our hope. Jerusalem was behind us. A city of shadows and what-ifs. The math was simple. A dead man stays dead, and a failed revolution leaves only the taste of ash. We were analyzing the data of our despair. A stranger slipped into our stride. He didn't intrude with a shout. He merged with our pace like a harmony into a melody. He asked us why we were sad, and for 2 hours he began to dismantle our reality.
He didn't just quote the scrolls, he unlocked them. It was as if he was holding the master key
to the trillion-fold layers of history, showing us how every drop of blood, every prophecy, and every tear was a vector pointing to a single bloody hill. But the peculiarity wasn't in his words, it was in our chemistry. My chest felt like it was being compressed by a solar flare. It wasn't heartburn, it was a thermal infection of truth. When we reached the house, we sat for bread.
He took it,
He broke it, and in the sharp crack of that crust, the scales fell from our eyes. We didn't just see him, we recognized the frequency, the creator. And then, in a final trillion-fold glitch in the system, he simply diffused. He vanished from our sight because he was moving into our very blood. He wasn't there anymore because he was everywhere. We ran back into the dark, and we realized the road didn't lead to Emmaus. It led to the end of the world.
it led to the end of the world.
The dust of the road is a holy ground, where the lost and the found are finally found. The stranger is walking in a code of light. The scrolls are unfolding like a map of the stars, guided by the light of his beautiful scar. It's the heartburn frequency, the viral grace, the light of the world in a commonplace. A trillion-fold go and a billion-fold stay, as the now of the Christ meets the everyday. He's not in the tomb, he's not on the hill, he's a fire in the marrow, a bend in the will. The gainful attention of the soul is the key to the road to everywhere. And for me, and for me, he broke the bread, he broke the law of the only one place that the people saw. He's a ghost in the machine, a spark in the cell, the awe-inspiring sound of a ringing bell. From the streets of the city to the ends of the sea, the disruptor is building a new history. The peculiar presence is a permanent guest in the center of the east and the heart of the west. Whoa. Christ divided by every soul, the eternal communion, a trillion-fold yes in a holy reunion. The physics of love have replaced the decay, and the road to everywhere starts today. Each other in the candlelight, our chests were still glowing. We didn't need to see him anymore. We knew the mission wasn't over, it had just gone internal. The king is on the move, and he's using our feet to walk.